Welcome to the channel. My name is Lee, and today we are doing a little bit of a different video than my usual pen and journaling content. I'm actually going to be doing an art supply haul for you guys. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave any comments or questions in the comment section down below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So some of you guys know that recently I took a temp job working as a monitor for the river cruise, cleaning up debris from Hurricane Helene. And sadly, there have been some incidents happening and renegotiations of contracts going on, which has caused that work to pause. And I am currently more or less out of work. I do have the option to going back to my retail job, but I don't feel comfortable doing that just yet before knowing for sure that this temp job is over, just because it is an amazing opportunity for me to make some money to help get me through the winter months, which are really, really challenging for me working retail in a tourist town in the winter. So, with that being said, I have a little bit of time, and because of this job that I took, I did have a little bit of money, and I decided to spend a day going on a little adventure to Boone, North Carolina. And I went to the local art store, and I have so many art supplies. Like, I don't necessarily need anything new. I've been collecting art supplies for my entire adult life, and I definitely, I have enough to get me through the hard times. But I decided to go and just browse around and see what they had. And when I went in, I actually discovered that they are closing. So they're going out of business, which honestly really, really sucks. But the cool thing about it is that everything in the store was 50% off. So, of course, I couldn't help myself. I had to stock up on a few things. Not really stock up. I bought some things that I normally wouldn't buy. And what I mean by that is it's not that I never could afford any of these items. I mean, sometimes it was that, but most of the time it was that I thought that these things were overpriced. And so I stubbornly did not buy these items because to me they weren't worth the price of what was being charged, with everything being 50% off. That seemed more like um, a reasonable price for what I was getting. So let's go ahead and do this. I went to Cheap Joe's Art Supplies, and some of you who are aware of Cheap Joe's know that they do have pretty decent prices. I ended up getting two of these 18 by 18 wood panels for painting. I thought about getting more, but as it was kind of like an unplanned outing, I didn't want to make any rash decisions about spending my money that I have to very carefully budget. But I will say that after I make this video, I'm going to go and uh, probably get some more wood panels because it's just too much of a good deal. And even if I don't use them for years, they're just going to keep getting more and more expensive. So it feels like a worthy investment, especially being somebody who is wanting to, at some point, make a living from their art. Whenever that's going to happen, I don't know. I've been trying at it for so long and it hasn't happened yet. Um, but we're working on it. So, anyway, wood panels for art. Really excited about that. They did give us a freebie bag too, so they included a few things in here for free, and I'll go ahead and show you guys those. They asked me what kind of art, like what kind of mediums I used, and I said everything, which is true. And so they gave me a little bit of everything, which I thought was really sweet. Starting off, I have a uh, kind of sample tube of some watercolor. It's a yellow watercolor paint by Sennelier. I haven't used Sennelier very often, but I know that they are considered a premium watercolor brand. So, and honestly, it's quite a lot in the tube. It's gonna be enough to fill a couple of half pans. So that's a great little gift right there. They gave me a tube of fast drying oil paint by Da Vinci, and it's a permanent green light. I use oils probably less than anything else just because they're so inconvenient to use, but I do love using oil paints. So maybe this will prompt me to get back into it. They also gave me some gloss medium. This is used in acrylic painting. And you can actually use this to mix in with your paint, or you can use it as a sort of a varnish for your acrylic paintings, or a mid layer between varnishes so that when you remove your varnish, it doesn't dissolve the acrylic paint. And lastly, I haven't actually opened this yet. I think it's paper. It's by Etcher. Etcher is a pretty popular watercolor paper brand. They usually make sketchbooks. I'm just going to open this really quick just to make sure that that's what it is. And yeah, it looks like some pretty nice watercolor paper. So maybe I'll make some ink demos with this paper. All right, so that's all the free stuff that I got in my bag there. And next up, oh, and they gave me this bag itself was also free. Next up, I'm going to show you the kind of smaller items that I got, and then I'll move to the bigger items. So the next three items are around plein air drawing and painting. So if you're not familiar with what plein air is, or plein air, en plein air, it is a style of art making where you are referencing the world around you in real time. So instead of using a picture or even using your like a composition made up in your head, you are looking at a tree or a scenery that's happening, and you're drawing that as you're doing it. And it's actually a very challenging way to make art because the getting the right proportions and perspectives when you have what you're painting and then everything else around it in your periphery, it's really challenging to do that. These are the main items that I've been eyeing for a while that I've been reluctant to buy because they're basically made out of plastic and cardboard and are like $10, which I think is insane. But they were on sale and 50% off. So I got all of these individually were between like $2 and $5. So I got these. I got a little cardboard composition viewfinder um, that has like some color referencing points on it and kind of some stuff about the golden ratio and that kind of thing. And what you do is you hold this up, and there's a second piece that you can kind of slide back and forth, and that will help you kind of define the barriers of your plein air painting. Another thing that can be really challenging is finding the correct value. So that's going to be the saturation of the color and like the darkness versus the lightness or contrast. And it can be easy to get mixed up with values when you have like a darker looking color and a lighter looking color that are different colors. So for instance, like a blue and a green, like one might appear lighter or darker than the other one. And then when you add some kind of unifying filter over it that allows you to see the values, you actually see that they are not very different in value at all. And when you know, at first glance, it might not seem like a big deal, but you'll find that the things that have low value contrast tend to be less interesting looking. They don't have as much draw to the eye, especially when you're talking about an atmosphere. And, it might be your goal to create like a peaceful, relaxing atmosphere that you don't have to think much about. But if you're looking to draw someone's attention into something, it can be really helpful to make sure you have your values in line. And that is why I bought this thing, which is you basically you put it over your scene that you're wanting to draw, and that is going to help you pick out the values by putting everything into being the same color. I don't know if that made sense, but and then lastly, I bought a second, more slightly durable viewfinder here. And again, same as the other one, it's just a quick, easy tool to use to isolate a scene for like making a proper composition. I've got two more smaller items. So something that I do pretty often when I'm painting with the intent of sharing my art in like a gallery or market setting, that is when I am more likely to focus on acrylic painting on a larger scale. I love doing large scale paintings. I'd actually love to do some mural paintings at some point. But I uh, I have had trouble. I've attempted to land mural painting jobs, and I just don't have a very great portfolio at the minute. So something that I'm doing is working on larger scale paintings to try to show that I can, in fact, make large scale paintings. But my method is typically with my landscape and sky paintings, I always do the sky and the background first, and I like to include these really um, very seamless gradients in the background. And that can be really challenging to do on a large scale. And so that is why I bought these huge brushes right here. Honestly, I could have gone bigger if they had bigger brushes, but they didn't. This one says $39.29, so at 50% off, it was about 20 bucks, but it was actually rang up as $20, so I only paid 10 bucks for it, so that was great. And this one has softer bristles. So basically, I'll use this guy right here to do my initial gradient, and while the paint is still wet, I'll use the softer bristles to blend out the brush strokes. So that is why it was worth it for me to get these two big paintbrushes. All right, now we are moving on to the bigger items in this supply tour. So all of these items, again, are things that I've wanted for a long time, and I just didn't feel like they were worth the cost of them for me personally. I'm not saying that, they weren't worth something, just in terms of what my budget was allowing for and what I had the resources for. These were items that I just couldn't justify purchasing. But again, because they were 50% off, um, and then on top of a sale price, it felt like a great opportunity to finally get these things that I've kind of low key been wanting for a long time. And most of these items are related to watercoloring and a little bit potentially with ink work and even acrylics, but probably not oil painting. So the first thing I got was this butcher tray. This thing was $28.99 recently, which I think is an absolutely absurd price for this. I feel like back in the day, when I was a baby or in the something like this would have been extremely cheap. So it's literally just an enamel butcher tray, so it shouldn't be expensive, but it is because people use it for art. It's been made into a gimmick and is now expensive. Um, and I got it for about 14 bucks, which honestly is still kind of expensive, but I figured I would just take advantage of that opportunity. So typically, the way this is used in art is with watercolors. You can get a lot of. It's designed to have the pools of water pool like around the edges, so you can make really nice, smooth watercolor washes, like using a large amount of water. You can also use this for acrylic painting, and it's going to peel off of this when it dries. next item is in here, and it is another watercolor palette. It's a ceramic palette in this petal shape. I'm actually probably going to be using this more than anything for using inks in art. I really like being able to drop the ink into these wells and make varying gradients with water and that kind of thing. So I've been wanting this. I've been kind of in my last couple of videos where I've been painting with ink, I have found myself wanting something like this. So when I saw the opportunity to get it, I did. It was about $5 originally, on sale for $9. Before that, I think it was like $13. And the last item is kind of similar. It is more porcelain watercolor palette and or ink palette, but these are stackable. And so they're going to take up less room on your desk, and you can just use what you need as you need it. And that's it. That is my art supply haul. If you guys enjoyed this video, actually, let me just tell you real quick how much I paid for all of this. So all of these items together with tax came out to about $85, which is a good chunk of money to spend at one time, but I do think it was worth it again, um, especially at 50% off. So yeah, that's my art supplies haul. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and especially if you also like stationery and journaling and that kind of thing, because I do a lot of that kind of content on this channel as well. And yeah, leave any comments or questions in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.